There we go. Okay, so we have started recording, um, and I'm sharing a lovely presentation that Pat has put together. Thank you for attending. Pat, I mean, I thought you were going to be literally in transit. Do you want to run the show just because you're
Nope, nope.
no?
This is yours.
It's my test. All right. So very exciting. So we're recording this for the folks that could make it. I'll send it around. Um, but yeah, we're very excited. Thank you so much for agreeing to participate in our ninth health tech event for the CHTI. It's our sixth time that we're embedded within AHA's Scientific Sessions meeting. For those of you who have not attended Scientific Sessions before, we position it as the largest cardiovascular scientific conference in the world. Um, I'm sure we could get into an argument about debate about the data on that, but it is one of the largest and I think one of the most incredible scientific related cardiology conferences. And so our Health Innovation Pavilion is a very special innovation focused place on the science and technology show floor within scientific sessions. I've been involved for three of these. Pat has been involved with all of these. So he knows the history and hopefully the trajectory that we're on in making this. I think my goal is, and Pat, I think has echoed this, we're really hoping to create a conference within a conference. So within the backdrop of scientific session and the 15,000 science and research and cardiology related folks that come to our event, we have this awesome kind of innovation focus happening within the very lively show floor. So at this point, we have over 115 participants confirmed to participate in this program that we've put together and exhibition area within this Health and Innovation Pavilion. That's very exciting for us. 50% of them are actually new to our program. So Tatiana, I know you've attended and witnessed this in the past. Philip, you're one of our new folks, but we're very excited that we're keeping sort of a new flow of energy and new speakers and new ideas as we build our programs. So we're really quite proud, and that all credit for that is due to Pat and our new colleague Webb, who have kind of revamped our programming and made it very exciting. Um, so here, getting down to brass tacks, for those of you who haven't attended, our Health Innovation Pavilion is very similar to other pavilions you've seen within large conference and trade shows. We have some areas where we'll have exhibitors. These exhibitors range from companies that are participating in our Innovators Network, as well external companies that have taken the plunge to be embedded on the floor to interact with the clinicians and the scientific researchers that come through the Science and Technology Hall. We have our own stage where Pat is just programmed as much as physically and I think legally possible. Every moment is taken up with wonderful content. I'll get to what we'll be discussing, but for those of you who were in Toronto, it'll be very similar to the experience there. Uh, as Pat was just mentioning, new to our format this year, you'll notice they're a little small. These round tables in front of the stage, kind of between the audience stage and the audience seating and the stage. Those are for discussions that will happen after our programs that are on the stage. So we're experimenting, we're innovating, if you will, trying to set up more opportunities for audience response, audience interaction with our speakers and some special experts that we've invited to come and manage these conversations at these roundtables. So we'll get into that in just a moment. Let me see if I can so, as Pat has positioned this, and I think it's brilliant, there's really something for everybody happening during this 3 day program, three quarters day programming. We have topics that range all the way from peds to geriatrics. We have people on stage all the way from medical students, all the way through deans of major prestigious programs. We're talking from everything from community health all the way, so it's most hands-on, perhaps most on the ground delivery of healthcare, all the way up to AI, things that'll be happening in the cloud and behind anything that anyone's actually touching themselves. And of course, we're going all the way back and looking at the 100 years that the AHA has been influencing and helping patients and clinicians as they treat and prevent cardiovascular and stroke issues, all the way looking into the future, so what's coming next. And that relates very much to sort of this panel and what will be happening on Monday November 18th, which while there'll be a thread of innovation and new things coming all throughout 3 days, really I think there's a more direct focus on uh, the innovation that's happening in the field, in the marketplace on Monday. Saturday night, and just try to ignore this picture here. We have I think I'd like to say infamous or perhaps famous networking reception. It'll be at the View rooftop, which is technically attached to the McCormick Center, although it's a little bit of over the hills and through the woods to get there. But one can, and I've done it, and Pat has done it, navigate from the actual show floor to this venue without stepping outside. Although you may save a little bit of time if you venture out, depending on the weather. You can cut a couple curves, but we'll have lots of information for you about how to get there, maps and so forth. There's a registration link that I'll make sure we distribute after this call so that you can register and reserve your spot. You're all invited. It's very low stress, but we found it to be a very interesting kind of mixture of both clinicians, investors, innovators, and just the people we love to be around in one nice spot. And I shouldn't say this because we're corny, but we do have a reputation of having some real food for people to eat. So it's quite popular compared to some of the conflicting events that'll be happening. So our specific day of November 18th, we're really excited about two real tracks that are happening. One is a series of sort of demonstrations and conversations around scientific results related to new innovations. And then this panel here, which is we're positioning as Accelerating Healthcare Innovation, is featuring our lovely and esteemed companies that have participated in the MedTech Innovator AHA Heart and Brain track. You see your names there. Again, this will be very similar, I think, to what we did in Toronto, although I would suggest that perhaps we change the orientation or the focus just a little bit. This audience is a little bit different than the folks that were at the MedTech conference. We're more clinician focused, scientific and researcher, although we hope to have a robust representation of investors and innovation ecosystem players. But I would just maybe suggest, and Paul will be moderating, so he'll have the reins, but that perhaps you might want to reposition the conversation a little bit less about the kind of market traction and perhaps market obstacles, or maybe emphasis more on the scientific and clinical elements of each of our solutions. So a couple things to keep in mind. This is not unlike the MedTech conference environment. We will be amongst exhibitors. We'll be around folks having conversations. So this isn't, a quiet classroom-like setting. So we'll have a very similar setup and look and feel to what was happening in Toronto. Of course, as we did there, staying on time is very important. There are sessions before, sessions after, so we need to kind of keep the plane on schedule. We're really not really looking for slides on this one. A very similar conversation format that we experienced in Toronto, I think would work just perfectly for both this crowd and this venue. I think common sense stuff. You guys have been through this before. Please arrive a little bit early to the show floor. We'll distribute a map of where our Health Innovation Pavilion is, but hopefully you won't be able to miss it. It's right adjacent to sort of the center of the action, we'd like to call it, the Heart Hub, which is the heart of the show floor. So it shouldn't be hard to find. We'll be using handheld mics, so don't have to worry about showing up and getting a lavalier attached to you. We're going to be recording all of the sessions and making those available afterwards, so you'll have an asset that you can share with on your website or social media channels. We're hoping to turn those around pretty quickly this year. Our video vendor is focused on turning this around for us, so fingers crossed we'll have those available to you. And of course, you can clip them up and just focus on each individual part that or sound bites that you might be able to get it. But we will be posting through our channels the actual full length video so people can enjoy that and learn from all the great stuff. In addition to that, we'll have an interview area set up. We'll be having folks interviewed. You don't have to do it, but we encourage you, and we'd love for you to take a few moments and say a few words that, again, we'll be able to capture and then make available to you, so you can use it as an asset in your marketing and publicity, but also we'll be having it on our CHTI website, so it'll be available for folks to learn more about what happens at the Health Innovation Pavilion. And I guess I'm the staff lead for this. So I will be sort of behind the scenes managing, making sure we're all there ready to go. Reach out to me with any questions that you might have as we go along this process. Let me just take a glance. Does anybody have any? All right, so no questions or anything like that. Many of you, I reached out on Friday. Some of you have already completed this, so gold stars to the folks that have already gotten these in. But we are going to, we would like a professional picture of you, sometimes otherwise called as a headshot, but we prefer the term professional picture. And that will be included on our online agenda, as well as in a, I'll call it print for lack of a better term, but a PDF version of our program that we in the past we found people find very useful. They'll download it, follow along, or some folks refer to it after the event is over. So we'd love to have a small, short bio. So again, you're all very accomplished. We don't have space for your full CV, but a simple few sentences that kind of sum up who you are and what you're doing would be really helpful for us. We'd love to have your social media handles. This year, we've made some wonderful progress in working with AJ's Master Brand social media group. And so we'll be leveraging their reach, not probably not during the actual presentations and the show itself, but we'll be working before and after with them to drive more awareness about the program and this panel specifically. So the more information we have about you, we can tag you, include you, and of course, we'd love for you to repost those and share those so we can generate more buzz for all of us. Um, you know what, Pat? I don't think I have the specific slide with the titles. So just if you could, as you send over your information with your bio and so forth, make sure that we have your title and credentials and affiliation. We may not include all of your letters after your name. We're trying to keep it somewhat reasonable because some of you are so accomplished. We don't have enough room on the slides for all of the things that you, all the certifications and degrees you've accrued. But we'll let you know how that goes.
Yeah, and just one thing to add to that, if you
Please.
could please, whomever the presenter is going to be, so put their name, credentials, title, and affiliation. That would be helpful.
Yeah, great, great. Yeah, in cases where perhaps one of your co-founders or another person from the organization might be presenting, as Pat said, very helpful for us to have their information so we can tie that all together. Okay, and if you could send me your cell phone or drop it into the chat. Oh, I guess most of these folks won't be watching this real time. So if you could send me your cell
Okay.
phone number, that'll be great. I will send mine around in case we have any last minute issues. As Pat has mentioned, we have had a couple speakers that got very close to the pavilion, but just couldn't quite identify us. So we can do that real-time coordination, perhaps reel you in and get you on stage in time in case anything happens. Um, so that's great. So those are the basics. Our hashtag for this year's program is HA24. So please leverage that as you talk about it. I believe everyone should be receiving tiles like speaker tiles that are say I'm speaking at so and so at scientific sessions. Please promote those so we can draw people to the stage that'll be actually on the ground, but also people that are maybe remote can also learn and know what's going on. Is there more I should go through, Pat? Trying to
The only
think.
thing is, if you do intend
Oh,
to use slides, please send us, we will send you the slide template, and please send us back your presentation ahead of time. We're saying November 1st. I know that's like almost unrealistic. Some of you will give us, a flash drive 15 minutes before your presentation, but officially, if you can get it to us ahead of time, if you could at least get it to us 24 hours in advance, so we have it queued up and ready to go. Just so I hate it when someone's standing at the podium and they can't get their slides to pull up. So if we all are using the same template and we have all of the decks, then we literally can go from one presentation literally right into the next one without any delays.
great, great. So I think and Paul, I don't know if you're in a spot where you can talk, but I'd like to propose in terms of the run of show for this particular program. We do have Heather Walsh from Astellas RX Plus, who was the official sponsor of this year's program, this track. They had some, how shall I say? They had a bit of a bumpy ride this summer, so they weren't able to participate as much as I think they would have liked, or certainly we would have liked. But she's going to say just a couple moments to sort of introduce RX Plus to the crowd and perhaps say a couple moments about their support of the program. We turn the mic over to Paul at that point. We would love to leverage the wonderful videos that you guys had and showcased in Toronto to sort of introduce each of the companies very quickly. And then hopefully Paul can ask some wonderful and insightful and probing questions about your experience in the program and where you're looking to launch and make the most impact with your products and services. And then we'll have the wonderful chatting around that. And then Pat, is it directly after that that we'll kind of break up and then move down to the discussion tables? I've
That's
not.
correct.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Hmm.
And so I think maybe Pat might swoop in at that point, and we'll be directing folks because preceding this discussion, there will have been a previous discussion, and we'll have one table that'll be available for people to continue that conversation, and then another table where people continue this
Hmm.
conversation. And again, this is a bit of an experiment for us, but I think it might be really great for people to have that opportunity. Instead of rushing up to the podium, they'll have the opportunity to continue the conversations there. Paul, I
Yep.
see you came off mute. Do you have words of wisdom for us?
Hey, lots of words of wisdom. Hey guys. Yeah, I'm here. By the way, I'm here at the health conference. So
Mhm.
which is just a little small though.
Yeah,
Um
nothing going on.
mine no, it's crazy busy here. It's amazing. There's like 15,000 people or something crazy. Actually it's only 12,000. I think you've got a bigger program coming up in scientific
Wow.
session. But they'll keep working at it eventually. Maybe they'll get to your size. But anyways, all kidding aside, no, I'm really excited, guys. I mean, this is going to be a little different, obviously, as Jeff said, than what we did in Toronto. But we really want to make sure that we're highlighting what you're looking for in terms of relationships or asks effectively, from the people that might be there. I don't expect this to be like a big investor kind of opportunity. There might be some investors there, but it's mainly more about, I think, making connections with the professional community. So I think I'd emphasize that certainly. And we can do a little like pre-event prep too on Slack where we can all talk about what you're looking for and what you might want to highlight or things you want me to say. I think that's the most important thing. What do you want me to be saying to people? Because they might be listening to me as well. So anyways, that's a little bit of
Might
what
be.
I'll give you as a heads up, but it's a great event. I was there last year and amazing opportunity for networking. It's just people need to know who you are. That's what we're trying to do.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you, Paul. And we still have
Thank
slots
you.
if anyone's interested in exhibiting on the floor. That does have a fee associated with it, but we still have some spots if anybody's interested in having a presence for the 3 days. I would love to be able to say, hey, this is on day one, so you can refer from stage, check us out, and talk to us at Pod ABC 123. But as the fates have it, we can't. Not everybody can be on day one. So this is on Monday, which is the closing day of the conference. But I don't get upset because I've been told that there's going to be so many compelling things going on, especially because this is related to our 100th anniversary, that they expect, at least the meetings team expects, there to be strong attendance all the way through. So that hopefully that theory of conferences as long as the half day before it ends. Hopefully, this is this that we buck that trend. So
Well, and we can even promote I mean, we're going to promote the whole schedule, but I think even the Monday events at our opening session.
yeah,
So we
true,
we can actually build it into some of the presenters' presentations about what to look for in the coming days.
amazing, excellent.
Terrific.
And so I guess for you, Tatiana, again, I don't think any real prep is 100 really necessary, but if you're able to listen in on the conversation from the stage to help that inform the conversation at the round table
Mhm.
after the stage, that's great. But you know what you're doing. I'm sure you'll have all these folks eating out of your hand and you'll be getting great conversation going.
Excellent. Thanks.
Hmm. Pat, did I miss anything? This is my first time
No, you
doing
were you
this.
were amazing. I should have been having you do all of these.
No, 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 no more, no more. Okay. Paul, any specific last words? I think we can give everybody some time back, as they say. Oh, actually, we're right up on
Yeah.
time. So
Yeah, well, just the last thing I'll say is a version of what I said a minute ago, which is you're going to get out of this what you put into it. So if you do
Mhm.
some extra effort up front, again, maybe even to say, hey, these are some specific people I'd like to meet with while we're there, or other things, whatever you ask for, we'll all try to deliver on, both us and AHA.
yep.
So again, ask. We may not be able to deliver everything, but we'll do our best. So
Mhm.
definitely
Great point.
ask. We'll have a private Slack we'll do just for the event, so we can stay focused on it. But that's what I would say.
I'll have to get back on Slack to be a part of that, Paul. I avoid it like the plague, but it's probably time
You'll
for me to
be
dip my
as
toes
long
again.
as you're on just for this, it'll be worthwhile. You can jump off again after that.
Yep. I know it's an amazing tool. They don't let us use it officially within
Oh,
AHA because we're a Microsoft shop. But you raise a really good point, Paul. As our sort of called print program comes together, we'll distribute that to everybody so they can sort of make their target list because Pat has done an amazing job of attracting world class and world famous speakers. So in the startup world, I would think these would be some wonderful people for you to connect to so you can kind of have your target list based on who's speaking on other panels during the rest of the day. So and backing up just a bit, we have no way of forcing you to be in Chicago all 3 days, but we highly encourage you because we think it's a great place to spend some time and make these connections. But certainly we'd love to have you Saturday night. And then, of course, we kind of expect you to be there on Monday to participate in this panel. So good.
Great.
Pat,
Thank you.
anything else? Let you get to the airport?
No, I think it's going to be an exciting event. So enjoy health. It'll be a good warm up for scientific sessions.
Yep. Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. It'll be terrific.
Okay. Be careful in Vegas, guys. I don't know
Yeah,
if I
Thank
can
you.
trust you.
We will not, there's no gambling here. Don't worry.
right.
However, what happens in Vegas, right?
Yeah,
It's true.
that's right.
And we have like 3 weeks for you to get over whatever cold
That's right.
slash plague you pick up over there. So that's good.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Awesome.
Sounds
right.
great.
Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thanks
Talk to you
all.
soon.
All right. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.